Hello, everyone. So in this presentation, I'm going to present our data set, which is a benchmarks for graph regressions on program graphs. The key idea is simple. Instead of predicting a class label, we predict execution time from a graph representations of a Java code. Why it matters? Public graph regression benchmarks rarely test large directed semantics-driven program graphs. The benchmark is released in two complementary forms: homogeneous, which is rel SCH, and multi-relational, which is rel SCM. So researchers can study not just model performance, but also how representation choice changes the problem. Why rel SC? Well, most public graph regression benchmarks are concentrated in chemistry and drug discovery. rel SC broadens that scope with a software engineering task where structures really matters. Runtimes depends on control flow and data dependencies. So this is a natural graph problem. The benchmark is especially useful because it stresses large directed graph, semantic flow edges, and multi-relational connectivity. A public benchmarks can expose where graph model help and where they still struggle. Regarding the datasets, rel SC combines two sources: OSS builds, which reflects real continuous integrations variability. As you can see on the right side in the table, OSS consists of 4 different projects from 4 different domains. Hadoop test, which was collected in a more controlled execution environments. In total, the release contains 922 OSS builds graph and 895 Hadoop test graph, each paired with an execution time label. The benchmark is smaller than web-scale Corpora, but label requires controlled executions and timing. The two data sources complement each other: real build variability from OSS builds and controlled execution from Hadoop test. The two complementary variants. The first one on the left hand, rel SCH, which is the homogeneous version. One graph view with rich node features. As you can see here, we have nodes and we have edges which are treated equally. This is good for testing how far strong homogeneous GNNs can go when semantics are packed into features. On the right hand, we have rel SCM, which is a multi-relational version. Relation types are preserved explicitly. As you can see here, we have different type of nodes and edges that are treated differently. This is good for testing whether heterogeneous models can really exploit relation-specific structure. Together, these two views let us ask an important research question. Is it better to compress semantics into features or to preserve them as relation types and let the model reason over them directly? The main takeaways. At high level, the paper shows 3 things. First, strong homogeneous GNN are very competitive with a PNA performance across rel SCH. Second, flow augmentations matters. Adding control flow and data flow graph edges improve accuracy over the plain AST, which is abstract syntax tree, as you can see here on the table. Abstract syntax tree is the abstract representations of the code. So adding control flow edges and data flow edges will convert that tree into graphs. Third, the multi-relational settings is still challenging, especially on a smaller subsets where stability becomes a real issue, especially over heterogeneous. The benchmark is useful not just it solves the task, but because it reveals where the current models break. Now that the high-level story is clear. Let's move to the repository. I will show two files here. First, the script that builds the flow-augmented graphs from a Java code. The second, the tutorial notebook that shows how to load and the release data sets and train the first models. I will also briefly mention that we were working toward smoother PyTorch geometric integrations where you can import the dataset directly from there. So this is basically the repository. We start by building the regression dataset, and this is the script for that. So this is datasets building scripts for user who wants to create their own regression datasets from a Java file. At the top here, the scripts import Java langs for parsing and any tree for building and explicit tree structures. It's basically here define the fixed vocabulary of a Java nodes type and then set of edge IDs used to enrich the plain AST. The most important part here is actually the tokenization and the AST constructions, which is actually preserved in methods called create AST. Well, basically, the script walk through the directory of a Java files, as you can see here, and then it do the tokenizations and parsing each files into Java langs AST, then basically extract the observed node type here, and then after that, it converts the AST into tree that can be traversed node by node. And I would like here to describe this function here, which is a get sequence functions. And in get sequence functions, what we do basically is we define the token and the children through the get childs method. This is the get child method that is trying to flatten the Java langs nodes children's into simple list, as you can see here. So you can recurse it clearly. Then the code constructs an actual any node tree recursively in a method called create tree here through these nodes. So in the create tree, we also get the children and the token here. So it creates a traversable tree nodes via these statements and then recurses it through the children, because we start basically by parents and then we go through the children. So the specific AST or traversable tree conversion is basically a combination of a get child, as you can see here, which is an extract a flattened child node, and a create a tree, which is a build and any node hierarchy. Afterwards, what we are doing is basically adding the edge constructions. So the script start with a parent-child AST edge, then it's add several extra edges family. So we have next sibling here. For example, we have the flow, basically the control flow edges, like for if, while, and for construct. Then we have basically the next statements and next token and so on and so forth. So the core idea of the flow augmented AST representations keep syntax, but also inject execution relevant structure. The next important block of the code is actually assemble the graph through the functions or the methods that is called create separate graph. So this is basically the methods that is trying to assemble the graph as a Python list payload, not as PYG data object. Concretely, it's build X here, which is a node feature, token ID, edge index through the source and target for the edge, and also we have edge attributes, which is an edge type ID, one per edge. The good things here is that it run in two modes, AST only, as you can see here, and AST with edge. So that's make it useful for both building a full REL-SC style graph and for the ablation study where we want to compare the plain AST against the flow augmented one. So where do we fill this kind of things? We fill it here through this kind of function here, where basically we add the node feature here, and we add the edges in the source and target, and we add the edge type here. So If we come back, oh, sorry. So if we come back to the function create separated graph here, we have the edge index, which is the edge source and the target, and the actual, basically, or the exact assemble payload moment is in this kind of line of code. So finally, what we have here is we have a clean CLI where you can pass input directory, for example, optionally an output JSON path. There's also switch to disable specific augmentation edge if you want to customize the graph constructions. So from a user perspective, this file is the quickest way to understand how raw Java code become a graph data sets. Next, let's go to the tutorial where you can start. So we have here a job turn notebook, which is the easiest entry points for the new user. So it starts with actually importing the PyTorch and the PyTorch geometric data loader, and also helper class that's used in the repo, including the rel SCM and rel SCH, which is the type of the graphs that we have. So the notebooks firstly show how to load one of the released data sets. For example, here we have RDF, subset of rel SCM, which is multi-relational. And after loading 8 points, the data sets objects, and one sample hetero data, as you can see here, graph, which is great for quickly understanding the structure of the release. After that, the notebook actually defines a standard training and testing function. It moves basically batch data to the selected device, compute predictions, and use L1 loss, and collects predictions and ground truth value for evaluation. And then we define like few hyperparameter, like basically the device, the patient's hidden size, batch size, and learning rate. So the model shown in the tutorial is basically hetero GNN Sage, and the notebook uses data sets predefined training validation splits. This is important for reproducibility because the released data already includes 70% for training, 50%, 15% for validations, and 15% for testing. The training loop here use an early stop, saves the best validation checkpoints, and then evaluates one of the test sets. At the very end, the notebook basically also show how to load homogeneous basically version, which is rel SCH. The users can switch between the two benchmark variants with very little code. So if I had to summarize the notebook in one sentence, this is the start here file for anyone who wants to go from zero to the first working experiments on our dataset rel SC.